Physical books or Kindle? I usually go through a little phase of going through physical books, but the Kindle's always going to win. Every now and then I'll go and buy some physical books from. I quite like going to the bookstore actually with people as well, because you end up, you're there for 2 hours or at least an hour. You're like talking about 10 different books, 50 different books that you've read about. So I actually quite like that as like a date or whatever. Um, Last girl I dated, I took her to a bookshop, and that's where I asked her to be my girlfriend. And that's sweet. I like that because you kind of like, you walk around and you talk about which books you've read and you make jokes or whatever. It's like such a wholesome kind of date to go on. Like I think people who read are always higher quality than the people who don't. Like people who just educate themselves from like, their like Instagram reel algorithms or whatever. When you read books, I love to talk to people who read. I love it. They're always so much more like sophisticated, so much more intelligent, critical thinkers. Like they'll challenge your idea with something. You'll have a little debate, whatever. People who read are very interesting. Yeah. Now I don't really read any novels, and the reason why is because I read like self-help type of books, and they always get so much hate. But I think they get hate from fucking like pathetic little normies most of the time. But when you read a book which is on self-improvement or, it's on business, whatever, 9 times out of 10, those books have actually got stories in them. And they're actually quite entertaining to read, even though it's an educational thing. So you can read a novel because it's, it's entertaining and there's a story. But if you read a book on business or a book on productivity or a book on health, they usually actually have stories in them as well. If anything, I actually find those stories to be even more kind of engaging. Like there's so many books I've read which are productive to read, but they're also educational at the same time. So for example, like, David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. That's a story, and it's not a novel, but it's either way, it's still a story. And what Mr. Checkhammer said there, great novels have a lot more true insights than 90% of self-help. I think the negative view that people have on self-help, no offense to you, Mr. Checkhammer, but I always love to judge someone on how they look. I'm not going to lie. I think we all do, but I'm the only one who actually admits it. And every single time I see, let me show you guys. Every single time I see someone shitting on self-help books, they always look like little fucking pussies. Have a look at this. Watch, we'll search up something and just, I guarantee everyone will look like a feminist. Like, what should I search? Like self-help books are a waste of time, something like this. Like people who make fun of them, they always just look like little skinny little feminists. Or they'll say like novels or fiction is better than self-help. Like, why am I going to take advice from these types of guys? For me personally, reading books on like self-improvement, reading books on discipline, like this, look, reading books on, like, he's saying, okay, don't read all these books here. The ones that actually transform my life, like the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and read like these random fucking philosophy books, whatever. I'm telling you right now, all the books that, like, the little feminist type of people tell you to read, you start reading them and it's like they just write it in like such bullshit old style English. And it's not even that coherent, but these nerds like to drink their like iced lattes whilst they drink it. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm so sophisticated. Like, it's gay as fuck, bro. To read some books on time management, read some books on health, on productivity, read some books on business, on fitness, on mindset. They're more enjoyable and also helpful at the same time. But like self-help books get so much rap, and it's always like people will say, oh no, but fiction and those kinds of books are more valuable. But the people who say that, they don't look like they've made any real progress in life anyway. So why am I going to listen to someone who says like, oh yeah, self-help books, they don't help. I read fiction and there's more like real life tips from a fiction book. But then that guy looks like he's like, he doesn't even fucking go to the gym. He doesn't even like make money. He doesn't do anything. He's just sat there like with his matcha latte. You know what I mean? So And I'm biased because I really enjoy the books I read. Like I really, really enjoy them. So when I see people who shit on these books and they always tell you like it's not reading that they're shitting on, but more like these helpful books, and you should read like fucking philosophy or some shit. It's just always gay. Oh, you've got to read some Carl Jung, bro. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? Oh, you've got to read this fiction book about two trans lovers. It's the advice in that, like, the plot twist is really good. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? Oh, this this erotica book where the woman and she's really poor and then she has to make money by jacking off werewolves. Okay. I'll stick to fucking David Goggins' book, bro. No, no, you don't get it. Look, so the first werewolf is younger than her, and like what, bro? I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. What the fuck? No, you don't get it. And then Carl Jung comes in and he helps with the like what the fuck? The shit you guys are reading, bro. I'll stick to my fucking time management 80-20 rule type of books, bro. I'm fine. The same like what Lucas said, like classic novels. Like, name me a few and let's go have a look. But I guarantee, like, they're just classic novels. I guarantee you'll be reading it and it's just boring as fuck and it's just so overrated. It's like the kind of thing that I really think people do it because they're like performing and they want to look all sophisticated in front of other people. But you weren't really like actually enjoying yourself when you were reading it. You know what? Like, anyone else agree with that? Like, type one in the chat. Who else is like, very happy reading like productivity books, self improvement books, whatever? But whenever you see people tell you like, no, you should read like novels and fiction, and you should read like philosophy. Every time you hear that, you're like, I don't want to read whatever you've been reading, bro. You know what I mean? Okay, you would probably enjoy White Knight by Dostoevsky. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I would enjoy it. White Knights Doves. Let's see. Let's get a PDF of this and let's read it together and let's see. I guarantee it's going to be old English and we'll read it and it won't even fucking make sense. I guarantee it, bro. All these old fucking books are always like that. Oh yeah, this is really fun, guys. Oh man. Oh no, you just don't get it, man. You've got to read in between the lines. You don't get it, Hamza. You don't get it, man. You've got to read it. Oh yeah, this is sick, boys. This book's changed my life. Okay, wait, I saw Jew somewhere. What did it say? The Jew. Oh yeah, I can't wait to read that chapter, bro. Okay, let's go. White Knights, a sentimental story from the diary of a dreamer. First night. It was a wonderful night, such a night as is only possible when we are young, dear reader. The sky was so starry, so bright, that looking at it, one could not help asking oneself whether ill humored and capricious people could live under a sky. That is a youthful question, too, dear reader, very youthful. But may the Lord put it more frequently into your hearts. Speaking of capricious, what does that mean? Given to a sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. Oh, like me. It's basically you change your mind all the time. Okay. And in ill-humored people, I cannot help recalling my moral condition all that day. From early morning, I had been oppressed by a strange despondency. It suddenly seemed to me I was lonely, that everyone was forsaking me and going away from me. Of course, anyone is entitled to ask who everyone was, for though I had been living almost 8 years in Petersburg, I had hardly an acquaintance. But what did I want with acquaintances? I was acquainted with all Petersburg as it was. That was why I felt as though they were all deserting me when Petersburg packed up and went to its summer villa. I felt afraid of being alone, and for 3 whole days, I wandered about the town in profound dejection, not knowing what to do with myself. Whether I walked in the Nevsky, went to the gardens, or sauntered on the embankments, there was not one face of those I had been accustomed to meet at the same time and place all year. They, of course, do not know me, but I know them. I know them intimately. I have almost made a study of their faces, and I am delighted when they are gay. Yeah. Gay in this definition, I think, means happy, doesn't it? And down east when they are under a cloud. I have almost struck up a friendship with an old man whom I meet every blessed day at the same hour in Fontaka. Such a grave, pensive countenance. He's always whispering to himself and brandishing his left arm, while in his right hand he holds a long garnel stick with a gold knob. I don't know. Seems kind of gay, you know? Uh, what do you think, boys? W or L for Dostoevsky? I think I'm gonna have to give that a fucking L. Not gonna lie. What did we gain from that? Was that very enjoyable? No, not really. Did your life improve because you read that? Not really. Did you get an idea for something that you could use in your own life? Not really. So this is what I mean. When there is a book like this, for example, and it's not practical to implement into your own life, then all there is the entertainment of it. But the entertainment of a book like this is not even that high. It really isn't. I think half the sort of joy of reading a book like this is being able to say that you read it, because it's a flex, isn't it? It's like a multi-level marketing strategy. Like, oh, but I've read Dostoevsky and you've only read Carl Jung, but you know, Freud was actually correct. It's like, it's just like a anyone else agree with that? It really is like a multi-level marketing, like if they can convince you to read these types of books, they seem sophisticated. You know what I mean? Right? I really think that's the case here. Because if the benefit is like, oh, it's kind of interesting and entertaining to read, but it's not actually that enjoyable. And I actually just enjoy the type of books that I just read anyway. So obviously I've only read one page, but yeah, bit of an L. Hamza sounds like people who say meditation doesn't work. No, because the thing with meditation is you have to practice it and the results are delayed. With a book like this, a book should be enjoyable to, if it's fiction and it's not a book to help you sort of implement something in your life, like a self-improvement book, then it needs to be enjoyable in and off the first page. If it's not, and if it doesn't completely captivate you, then it's at that point, it's like you don't get like the extra sort of delayed enjoyment or whatever. It's like, no, like it just needs to be enjoyable. If the reason why you're reading a book is only for joy, then it needs to give you the joy now. If the reason why you're reading a book is more, or you're meditating for some progress, then it can make sense. Okay, it might take a few weeks for it to show up. I'm not convinced that these books are actually that fun or even practical. Read My Struggle. Okay, a few of you saying read My Struggle. Let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. My Struggle. Oh, this is Adolf Hitler's book. This is Mein Kampf. Okay, let's do this. Mein Kampf. Let's see. Uh, Interesting. My internet just got really slow right now. Hmm. Look at this guy. Indian cobra. Your Indian cry harder. You sound like a fucking retard, bro. Okay, let's go. I'm just gonna leave this guy up on my screen. Uh, this one. Okay, you guys see this? Mein Kampf, Adolf Hitler. In the house of my parents. Today seems to me. Oh, they always use these old fucking English words. It just destroys the flow when you're trying to read it. And providential. What the fuck does that mean? Occurring at a favorable time. Today it seems to me occurring at a favorable time that fate should have chosen Brayuno on the inn as my birthplace. For this little town lies on the boundary between two German states, which we of the younger generation at least have made it our life work to reunite by every means at our disposal. German Austria must return to the great German mother country, and not because of any economic considerations. No, and again, no. Even if such a union were unimportant from an economic point of view, yes, even if it were harmful, it must nevertheless take place. One blood demands one Reich. Never will the German nation possess the moral right to engage in colonial politics until at least it embraces its own sons within a single state. Only when the Reich borders include the very last German, but can no longer guarantee his daily bread, will the moral right to acquire foreign soil arise from the distress of our own people. Their sword will become our plow, and form the tears of war, the daily bread of future generations will grow. Fuck! That goes hard. Their sword will become our plow, and from the tears of war, the daily bread of future generations will grow. And so, this little city on the border seems to me the symbol of a great mission. And in another respect as well, it looms as an admonition. What does that mean? An act or action of admonish. I hate when you fucking look for a definition and it just uses it as if you know. Admonishing, warning or reprimanding someone. Okay, so punishing someone. It looms as a punishment to the present day. More than 100 years ago, this insignificant place had the distinction of being immortalized in the annals, at least of German history, for it was the scene of a tragic catastrophe which gripped the entire German nation. Now, see, I'm already captivated by the first page. Anyone else? This sounds like fucking. Who prefers book number one that we had before and book number two that we have now? I'm gonna go with two, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you should read Dostoevsky, bro. You know, I'd rather read fucking Adolf Hitler, bro. Now we're talking, bro. They were all like, "No, Hamza, you're judging a book by its cover. You know, you're like, you only read one page." Well, I read one page of this, and this first page was actually pretty good. That's funny as fuck. Read 200 of both. Oh, bro, do I have to? The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I've not read that, but I do find a lot of the times I'm not sure how valuable that type of topic for me is. I think for someone who doesn't really understand, but I find that now whenever I read a book about sort of affirmations, visualizations, subconscious mind, it doesn't really help me that much these days. Maybe I should give it a try anyway. But I remember picking that book up and reading the blurb at the back, and I was like, eh. Because I was so big on self-image, I've read a bunch of books on it. So now I'm like, I don't think I need to do much self-image work right now. Now I just need to put in the action. This is why I'm like live streaming every day. This is why I'm recording 3 books every day. Sorry, 3 videos every day. I don't think I need to sit here and try and figure out things in my self-image right now. I'm not in that season of life. I think right now, season of life is just like be disciplined, do the real world things, record 3 videos a day, stream every single day, direct my team well, give a lot of value to my people inside of my paid programs, and go to the gym, train a few times a day. There's like 20 to 30 good self-help books. Most of them are not valuable after you've read the best. If you only read like the topic of sort of improving your life, and there's a few decent books on that, sure. But there's so many books on very specific parts of self-improvement. So I wouldn't say there's only 20 to 30 because, for example, I bet you've not read like there's a book on how to optimize your breath for athleticism and sleep. And that book's great. But you wouldn't have included that in your 20 to 30, right? There's so many books you don't even know, bro. You really don't know. Like if you think that, there's okay, Atomic Habits and whatever, there's 10, 20 books like that. Yeah, sure. But I don't read any like, of like Atomic Habits, that type of thing. But there's so many books which are not on specifically the keyword self-improvement, but they're on like a part of what I deem self-improvement, which is improving yourself in like every way you can. So there's books on like what the guys are saying here, Oxygen Advantage, Patrick McEwen. There's a book called Breath. There's a book even called like Why We Run. And it's like a story of this guy who goes to like this random tribe, which are known for being elite runners and they don't wear shoes and they can run for hours. Like that's still about self-improvement because it helps you run better. And it's like, it's like a storybook on running. And this is why I like whenever someone says, oh, self-help books are not useful, they're just boring. I'm like, are you reading the same ones as me? Because the ones I read are fucking interesting. Like, guys, think about that book. I bet none of you have read this one. Why We Run. Literally, like this random fucking normal guy. He tries running to be fit, whatever, but his shins hurt, his feet hurt, whatever. And he ends up like going to like this random tribe in Mexico where he almost gets killed by the cartel. Then he finds like these elite runners that live in like a tribe away from the internet, and they are like some of the best runners in the world. And he kind of gets their advice, and it's like written in a story. Like that's cool as fuck, isn't it? And that's a book that most of you haven't heard of. So when people say like, oh, but self-improvement books, these types of books are not helpful, you should just read fiction and philosophy. I'm like, bro, I've read so many fucking awesome books, like Estro Generation. There's so many cool books. Like Stolen Focus is the one I'm recommending to you guys recently, where this guy is just normal like us. And then he ends up taking this trip where he doesn't bring any technology with him for months. And he documents the journey. He writes it all out in like some typewriter shit. He documents it. And when I was reading it, the best part of it, I thought this is going to be only legit if he admits that when he comes back to normal life, that he's basically went straight back to the internet addiction. And he did. And he was like, yeah, when I came back, I started to use my phone. And before I know it, I'm just like back to normal. And this is the problem. Like, like these software developers have made these apps so addictive. I read shit like this and I'm like, bro, this is 10 times more enjoyable than reading fucking Dostoevsky's fucking cadence, whatever bullshit, whatever he says on it. It's fucking 10 times more enjoyable than these fiction books, these novels and whatever. This is like a fucking novel, but it's like a real fucking life. Like it's a real person story. I don't need to read some novel about like some fake world or some fucking wizards or something. I'll just read a novel about a story of like someone's real life, and I'll, which has some kind of value for me to read and to implement into my own life. I'm like so big on this, man. Like reading's changed my life. I think reading's fucking awesome. And reading these books, which are actually genuinely productive. How often do you read a book cover to cover? It depends what kind of book it is. So if it's like one of these storybooks, then I won't skip around. And these storybooks are actually quite interesting, right? So whenever a book starts with like, they're in the middle of a story or whatever, then I know, okay, this is one I'm going to end up reading fully in order within like 2 days. But when a book is kind of like not written in a story format, that's usually when I'll skip around, especially if there's like a piece of knowledge I specifically want to go and jump to. But this is why I prefer like storybooks, because that feels like a mix of, like the sort of entertainment of a novel, but with the benefits of real wisdom and advice. And sometimes they've got like scientific studies that you remember and everything.